Onions are used a lot in the kitchen and the price have gone up these days. That's why today I want to show you how to plant onions from these bulbs from start to finish. As a price comparison, a bag of organic onions costs around $6 for around 6 to 8 onions. And a bag of this, which probably have 60 of these tiny bulbs, costs around $5. Onions are biennial, which means they have a 2-year life cycle. Stage 1 is where they produce tons of leafy growth in preparation for stage 2, where the bulbs will grow. The second year, in stage 3, they flower and produce seeds. So when you plant one of these, you won't get the biggest bulb because its main goal is to produce seed, since it thinks it is on its second year of life. But if you plant it at the right time, you could still get a decent sized bulb, and it will be way cheaper than if you buy onions from the store. Now before we start planting our onions, it's important to get the right type for your location, because we're trying to get bulbs, not flowers. There are 3 types of onions: long day, intermediate day, and short day. The length of the daylight determines when your onions will start to bulb. And everyone knows the higher north you go, the longer the daylight hours are. For an example, today I'm planting the yellow sweet Spanish onion, and there are a long day variety. The onions will start to bulb around the summer solstice, which is June 20th in the northern hemisphere. You don't want to plant the wrong type of onion, so I have a map here that's for the United States. For those of you in the UK and Canada, you can get the right type of onions based on your daylight hours. So make sure to get the right type. Because onion bulbs according to daylight hours, it's very important to plant your onions early, and onions can tolerate a little bit of cold. So now let's get planting. So I have this bed freshly topped up with rich manure, and I've also got a 6-inch wide board, which I'm going to use to make the spacing. You want to start 6 inches away from these sideboards, because when the onion starts to bulb, it will compete with it. So now in between these 2 spots, I'll plant 1 onion bulb into the hole, leaving only the tops exposed. Now we're going to add about a tablespoon of this bone meal on top of the onions, because bone meal contains lots of phosphorus for bulb production. If you take a look at these 3 numbers, this is known as the NPK. The first is nitrogen, second is phosphorus, and third is potassium. The higher the number, the more it has. Bone meal will take about 2 months to become available for the onions to use. So when my onions have grown all their leafy growth, the onions could then use the phosphorus for bulb production. I'll leave a link in the video description where you can get this bone meal, and if you get it within 24 hours of clicking the link, I receive a small commission so I can continue making great videos. And now I'm going to use a rake and gently cover the soil. Then we're going to give the onions a good water. And now we want to apply some mulch. I'm going to be using some decomposed hay because water can get to the soil easier, and when I'm harvesting my onions, I don't have to worry about the hay tying up the nitrogen in the soil. You could also use some shredded leaves or some grass clippings or some straw. Just make sure whatever mulch you use that it's weed free, because onions doesn't like competition. The mulch that we'll be applying will act as an additional protection to any frost that we'll be having. Now that our onions have been planted, we want to come back every few days to check if the soil needs any more water. So that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, Tweaker the Friendly Chicken would like if you leave some likes in the comments so YouTube can share this video with more people. Bye!